Am I doing it straight away or do we? Yeah.
Let's do it straight away. Yeah. 3, 2, 1, and we're live.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Nerding Out. We took a little bit of a break, and by a little bit, I mean since October. I don't know why I checked my watch for that.
Since Halloween, actually.
Since Halloween,
the day
yeah.
of Halloween,
Halloween.
when we were in costumes.
So welcome back. We are here to talk about nerdy shit, and we're sort of figuring out a new schedule. We'll talk about that later on near the end. But with me, co-hosts are Serge, the
Hi.
producer guy,
Hi.
and Nikki.
Hi.
All right. So we have a couple things we just want to talk about. What today's mainly for is just catching up on the last couple of months, just talking about the things that have happened since then and our new schedule later on. So you good?
That hurt. I don't want to.
You okay?
Yes, I'm okay. Thank you.
All right. What do you guys want to talk about
Getting
first?
old.
Doctor Strange, Scream, or Texas?
Let's start out. We'll get to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let's start off on a happy note. And let's talk about Doctor Strange.
That's
Okay.
because you just want to go all in.
Yes, I do. I am not pulling my punches when it comes to the Texas Chainsaw movie. I'm
Yeah,
very
and you know
mad.
what's so sad is that they're going to see the last video of this in October, and it was just me getting really angry about the last Halloween movie, and this is just your turn.
Yep.
This is you two being angry and me just going, Scream was good. Scream was good.
Well,
Lord.
out of the three, his was the worst.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, Serge.
I know.
Mine,
I am too.
I at least have to say that was a Michael-themed movie. 'cause
That was
he
a
did-
good
he did-
movie.
It wasn't a bad movie.
Hey,
I just had
evil almost died.
Don't even
Evil
fucking
almost
say it.
died
Don't
that
even
night.
fucking Say it. Don't even say it.
Evil was in danger that night.
Evil was targeted that night.
Can you imagine how upset he was? He was just like, damn, why is everyone coming after me all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Like he did nothing wrong.
He's like, I just want to go back home. I don't know who the fuck you
I
people
just
are.
want to stand outside and look at my window and everything.
They should have changed the name. They should have changed the promotion to Evil Gets Threatened Tonight.
I hate you. That was really good. Why couldn't you think of that on Halloween, dude? Fuck.
Because I hadn't seen it yet.
Oh, yeah. Why are you always so behind on these movies, dick?
Listen, bro. Hey, I have free time now. So.
You got free time now, so we got to binge movies.
Yes,
Stop.
sir.
Stop. You know I can't hold it.
That's an inside joke.
Let's go.
You won't get it.
Yeah.
So let's start off with Doctor Strange then.
Okay, I am very, very excited for Doctor Strange. I watched like 4 or 5 different trailer breakdowns, and like there was one that I saw. Let me pull up the guy's name because it was actually a very good breakdown.
I think that just ignited something in all of us that are, especially the kids that like our first superhero movie. I have to say was X-Men, the original one with Hugh Jackman and everything.
Yeah.
That was our first one.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything farther back.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that was my first one.
Yeah.
I was either that or I think right after that was Fantastic Four. I think was like
Your first
short.
what?
I
A
think
Marvel
superhero movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think
superhero
it
movie?
was
Yeah.
I think I think the second X-Men came out and then Fantastic Four, but they
New
started
Rockstars.
pretty
Yeah.
But I saw some trailer breakdowns too, and I pointed it out so many times, but I didn't even think about it till like I watched it 50 times, like we
Yeah.
all have.
Yeah.
And the scene where Wanda's just like looking down at herself, I was like,
Oh yeah.
I paused. I was like, why does that look like the room from Jean Grey's house when she kills Xavier in the original in Last Stand?
yeah.
And I thought to myself, I was like, that's got to be something. That's got to be
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I mean, because so the trailer breakdown that I watched was New Rockstars. Shout out to New Rockstars. They did one that was like 8 minutes and one that was like a more in depth, like 25-minute video of like a full breakdown. And that particular scene, it looks like her house from WandaVision. Because if you look, you see the scooters in the background that are
Oh,
kids have.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like that she went back to her house from WandaVision because there's another scene or another shot in the trailer from that same set where it shows out the window that everything has a red haze outside over it. So and like I'll essentially a lot of this hints that most of it takes place in a pocket reality that Wanda's created because it's apparent that Wanda and Strange have a very have a very deep telepathic connection.
Mm-hmm.
So and that was really in WandaVision and in the trailer, all the scenes from that are shown from Strange's perspective of crazy shit happening all have the same like red hue of Wanda's chaos chaos magic.
No shit.
And you know, to even back up that idea, I even noticed it when we talk about the house again. When you brought up it looking like her WandaVision house, I didn't even think of that because I forgot that it changed through the 60s to the 90s.
Yeah.
And when it hit the like after the 90s, it went to very like traditional Modern Family type style. So that's
Yeah.
when I think about it. You see the staircase, and the staircase was not how it was when they were in
Yeah.
the 70s. So that's most likely it.
Yeah, because if you look on the ground, there's like a catcher's mitt, and there's like two scooters in the background, and like things that show that was her house from Westview.
WandaVision.
I even
Westview,
think
yeah.
she's in the same outfit that she was in the
I think she is.
Yeah.
like
Or like one of the blouses and a shirt underneath.
yeah,
type
it
of
looked
outfit.
very similar, but
But also too, there's a scene in where America Chavez is tied up by that thing, and she opens a star portal behind her. If you look back in the portals that she opens, there's an infinite number of portals, which means they're happening in separate dimensions at the same time. So that some, at least from what I saw, it's possible that what Strange did not only ripped open holes in a mirror dimension, but ripped open holes in multiple mirror dimensions that have different outcomes, which is why we saw in like an evil version of Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So when America Chavez tried to open up a star portal to dip out of those of whatever she was tied up behind, there was like 40 other portals that opened up behind her, which means that there was some kind of either realities colliding or being opened between realities. So like it's a shit show.
and you know, as much as I complained about them power doxing Wanda through this entire thing, what I've noticed is that there's this enormous amount of power struggle building, if you haven't noticed.
Yes.
Because we now know what Doctor Strange's faults are and what his limits are.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, if you go back to Endgame and Infinity War, Strange could only see a future where all these other infinite futures, but it wasn't one where he died.
Yeah.
So he couldn't even see past himself at that point.
Yeah.
So his powers weren't where you would expect them to be but then there's the power of Wanda growing, and it's growing fast and it's not stopping.
Yeah, and plus, I mean, for those of you who have been paying attention to the Marvel Universe for a long time, you'll know that Wanda Maximoff is infinitely more powerful than Doctor Strange. Infinitely more powerful.
She's most likely, I think she's moved up from when I used to consider where everyone is on the notch belt, because I always know that like Jean Grey, because she's a level 5, high up there, she's probably the second. She's even above Xavier. But in later comics, I've seen Wanda be the one to handle her and also create, I believe, more of a friendship with her.
Yeah.
Either that, or I think it might be Hope Summers, who now controls the Phoenix.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think she either has a relationship with her or another the current reincarnated Jean, which they haven't done anything. I don't know what they've done with that. But
As of right now, Scarlet Witch is without a doubt the most powerful person in at least the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
yeah, which is why I think your theory of this entire universe that we've been watching,
That's
her
right. We'll
being
get to that. Yeah.
being a pocket dimension, is completely true. Because when you revisit the actual comic, I forget which one it is, where she's giving birth to the twins, and Tony and everyone's there, and she has Professor X talking to her, and she's like, Wanda, there's never been any children. We've gone over this.
Yeah.
Like, every time I think about it, and when you watch the trailer, the slow pan into her eyes, that's Xavier looking into her head, supposedly.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine that might actually be it, because I can see it going that way.
But also, too, one thing in the trailer breakdown that was crazy that I didn't realize was in the very beginning of the trailer, where Strange sits up after having that nightmare. It shows him like with his hands over his face. His hands don't have scars on them.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've been paying attention, but so you know Doctor Strange's origin story, right?
Yes.
Okay. So his hands are still very scarred. Like he can do all of his things, but he has scars all over his hands and whatnot. And if you look at that specific scene, his hands don't have scars, and he doesn't have any of his books by his bed. It's back in his apartment when he was a surgeon. So it's possible that it will show multiple different timelines, one of which Strange didn't even become Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Because sorry, I don't mean to
No,
but
my bad.
one thing too is if you remember, the most recent Sorcerer Supreme was Wong, not Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I had a fucking crazy theory about how we saw like an evil version of Doctor Strange. Obviously, Mordo's here. The Illuminati is now a thing, and they were saying that it's possible that in one of the realities that the Illuminati is part of, it's not actually Superior Iron Man, that it's actually Ultron, because like if it was a reality where Ultron, his initiative worked and he was the one that controlled the peace, which is why Strange never became Sorcerer Supreme, because he didn't need to.
So the only reason I would disagree with you on that is because when you look at the panel of because when the reason why I thought this was such a monumental addition is not just because you know who is returning as Professor X.
Yes.
I swear to God, if Ian McKellen's not back, I'm going to be very upset. There's always been a specific team for each Illuminati team, portion.
Yeah.
And when you look at the people that are on the Xavier one, it's
Dr.
a very
Strange, Namor, Superior Iron Man, Reed Richards, and oh my God, I'm kind of totally blanking on the name. But whatever.
But what I'm saying, like,
Yes.
it's just very specific. And
Yeah.
then another factor that I didn't even think of is how they're going to pull the later editions and later generations of Marvel into this. Like, we're getting Ironheart and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone forgets of the very overpowered Fantastic Four child. Reed Richards and Sue Storm's. What is his name?
Yes. Hold on. Let me look this up.
Because he's actually moved up in the power ranks.
But later, like back onto what Serge was saying, I feel like that could also still be a possibility because that was one of the What If episodes. And I feel like with Doctor Strange, what if when Doctor Strange breaks like all the multiverse timelines, what, like, for sure, evil Doctor Strange, I feel like that's
Franklin Richards.
Franklin Richards. I feel like that's a callback to the What If, because that is also like in What If there was the evil Doctor Strange, the crazy guy, and also they have a whole Ultron thing inside of the What If.
I'm getting that. I think What If heavily is involved in Multiverses of Madness, because I don't know if you noticed or not, it was super niche. You could miss it easily. Captain Carter's shield was in one of the shattered glass
Also, Zombie Wanda.
and Zombie Wanda and Zombie Stephen Strange
and Deadpool.
Also, when you one thing I also want to see in this, because I've been also thinking about this since we're incorporating Professor X, and I think we've talked about it before in one of the episodes, how they're going to introduce mutants, which they technically already have, because when you go into WandaVision and you watch the part where they're explaining everything, you see the part where she looks into the stone and it shows her what she's going to be. And then Agatha, whatever her Harkness.
Yeah, Agatha Harkness.
She explains to her that there's no possible way that you could have survived. You and your brother could have survived that unless you intervened somehow with your powers. And she explained you had that before you even touched the stone. It just brought it out. So that's basically implying the whole mutant thing.
But also too, also talking with WandaVision, why they had Evan Peters Quicksilver instead of the one that was in like from the Fox X-Men, is because
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
I think he's gonna bring him back. I think they're gonna bring him back.
I'm pretty sure they are, because like this is why also for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, there's a theory going around for a couple of trailer breakdowns that the entire MCU takes place after the No More Mutants arc, that all of this has been a pocket reality of Wanda, which is why, you know, people get recast. There's like a lot of intervening things. Some things don't happen, which is why you have the X-Men universe and why you have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that are two totally different things, and why you don't hear anything about the X-Men in any of the Marvel movies except for Deadpool.
Oh my God. Could you imagine if they try to mirror the comic, and like I was telling you about her giving birth to the babies and Charles walks in? Could you imagine if they go back to WandaVision where she's having the kid?
Yeah, exactly.
And like they revisit all of these things, and then if they want to go even further, the best way I could think that they could do it is the signals that they were hearing, even
Yes.
though it was we know who it was.
Yes.
Could you imagine if there was something subliminally in there that
Yeah.
he's been trying to reach her and he couldn't?
But also too, if you look at one of the scenes where Wanda's fighting someone, when it zooms into her eye, in her the reflection of her eyes, there's 2 holding cells in the Illuminati HQ, which are, I think, for Billy and Tommy. So she's going after her kids that the Illuminati have, but which is why they're like, we should tell him the truth to Stephen Strange, and how he gets roped into this part of the the Illuminati. The only thing that doesn't quite tie in as cleanly, that kind of is the wild card, is the introduction of Mordo, because with Mordo, it's not like he was a consistent member of this version of the Illuminati, except at least Xavier's Illuminati, which is again kind of gives it to the point where, from what I can see, some of the magic that Mordo was using was Strange's magic, which means in this reality, Mordo is Sorcerer Supreme. Strange was not Sorcerer Supreme because he didn't have the cloak, he didn't have the gauntlets, he didn't have the
Amulet.
the time stone. He was simply arrested from a different reality and brought to this one, which is essentially a pocket reality. There's a couple of thoughts about who is on the Illuminati. Superior Iron Man is one. Ultron is one. Black Panther is one.
But as what's her name?
Yes.
The sister.
Yeah. I forgot her name, but
Shuri.
Shuri. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shuri.
which is probably why they shot the new Black Panther movie at the same time as this.
Yes, but also there is some speculation that it was actually Killmonger, where Killmonger saved the Black Panther.
I mean,
Oh my
Killmonger did come back
God.
He
in
did
the
come
What
back,
If
yeah.
universe.
I'd love to see him come back.
And because
I just want to see Michael B. Jordan.
But here's my thing. Because Killmonger was in the What If universe, and because a lot of the trailer breakdown is saying, hey, almost every episode of What If ties into the trailer somehow, which is why it could possibly be Killmonger on the Illuminati as Black Panther, not Shuri and not Namor.
Also, 2 things to reinforce everything with Wanda. Not only the zombie Wanda, but did you notice that towards the end of the trailer, when you see her after she talks to Strange and she whips around, her fingers are covered like Harkinson's was.
Yes.
And then if you notice, just because I do makeup and I understand, the contour right here from about to her nose here is darkened like hers was.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine she's been using the Darkhold.
Yeah, and that actually ties into where Wanda's magic is increasingly darker and red now, which is essentially why it feel like she's controlling all of this.
Yeah, because if you notice, even in one of the most recent comic that it ended up getting canceled was the Doctor Doom and Wanda, and
Yep.
she picked everybody up to go fight people in Darkhold, but they had to all read it, so they had to all go mad.
Yeah.
It's very dark. Her magic's very dark, but when you look back at one of the early mid 2000 comics, it's very pink.
Yeah.
She had very pink
Yeah.
colors.
Even in the Avengers films, it was pink. It wasn't red.
Yeah, it's
But
gotten
but
darker.
in this movie,
It's
red.
more and more crimson by the
Yeah.
time. Even in WandaVision, you could see it start off. It was like a sort of lightish red, sort of pink, and then it just starts getting crimson and vermilion by the
when
end.
when she walks out of the hex
Mhm.
and she fights when she fights those guys out there and threatens everyone, it was red,
Mm-hmm.
like blood red.
Also, something else that would probably trip both you guys out. I noticed something that was pointed out to me was, you remember the scene where Strange is falling and his face is kind of like blocks falling
Yeah.
apart? The only other 2 times that we've seen that are when Flint tried to, or not Flint, oh my God, Star-Lord,
Yes.
Peter.
Oh.
He tried to get the Reality Stone and
Yeah.
dropped it and like that. And if you look from the Avengers films, there was a cross comparison. The only time Thanos uses the Reality Stone is to fight Wanda.
Oh, true.
That's it.
Oh, wow. I didn't think of that.
Yeah,
That's
because
damn.
in Endgame, the only time he ever uses the Reality Stone in the whole franchise is to fight Wanda. That's it.
And here's what I love, because again, like I said, they've underpowered her until now, and it's been this slow build up. It's gonna pay off because it's not like before when she captured a whole town just to grieve. this is past the grieving process. I've read the Darkhold. I know I have this power. I know I am the Scarlet Witch, and I'm gonna get what I want.
Yeah.
So think about it. Not only does she have the Illuminati to fight, Doctor Strange, if she is the true villain of all of this, she's also the second only Nexus being other than Kang the Conqueror. And now that he's been introduced, there's 2 in the universe, and the law is like you can only have one.
Yeah.
So it's going to be this huge showdown of who's going to fucking beat the shit out of Wanda, but I think she's going to end up beating the shit out of everyone else.
Well, that's that also too. To your point, the introduction of Kang kind of fucked up the whole MCU. And as to why he was like, no, there's multiple timelines. Like the one that you're in may not be the main timeline.
You might not even be the main one.
Correct. Which is why people think that this is possibly a pocket dimension. That to Wanda's credit, but also too, when Wanda was essentially introduced as quote unquote the main villain, possibly, that line of the Illuminati on the far right, the person that was shrouded in white had a similar build. Possibly, it could be White Vision, Clear Vision. On the line of the
we're
Illuminati.
not going to see the last of him.
No,
especially since Wanda kind of woke him up.
Yeah. So it's possible that it's at least this line of the Illuminati is Mordo, Charles Xavier, White Vision, Killmonger's Black Panther, and maybe oh my god, from WandaVision. What's her name?
Oh, Agatha.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, she had the powers, right?
Agatha was the other witch.
No.
Who are you talking about? Oh, her.
Yeah, Monica Rambeau. So it's possible
Also,
that she's on the Illuminati as well.
Quick question: you guys said that there was Deadpool in the trailer. I didn't notice any Deadpool. What are you talking about?
So in one of the so this is the same way that we found out that there might be Ghost Rider is because if you look at one of the things where one of the sorry,
You okay?
Yeah, my back spasmed. One of the windows that shatters and it has a bunch of pieces in the glass, you see a katana, like a sword, and you see
A mask.
you see you just see the sword, and you see part of the chains from, I guess, Ghost Rider's chain whip, but also too that hell spawn thing that captures Steven at the top of the thing with those demons. There's a theory that this also ties into, which was in the Multiverse of Madness same time frame. There's a storyline in which Johnny Blaze, what's his name? So Wong is evil, and he starts the Midnight Suns.
Yeah.
They release Mephisto. Thank you. They release Mephisto to essentially help save the world, and he rips open a portal to hell. And because there's a portal open to hell, Ghost Rider his powers are not quite as strong. And Mephisto rips the spirit of vengeance from Johnny Blaze and throws him off a building and kills him. And Johnny goes to hell, who meets the disembodied spirit of vengeance and convinces him to give him the power back to go back to Earth and take Mephisto back to hell, which is how Ghost Rider becomes the king of hell, is because he's already dead, so he doesn't have to go back to Johnny Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
He's just
Please
Ghost
let it
Rider.
be Nick Cage. Please let it be Nick Cage.
So there's 3 Ghost Riders alive in this timeline.
Yeah, because it's the old man.
This is Johnny Blaze. So it's no. So Slade is already
Slade's
gone.
dead.
He's gone.
Okay.
Slade died in the second
Slade
movie.
died in the second movie. Yeah, so Slade's already dead, but it's Johnny Blaze who's the main Ghost Rider. There's oh my god, the Mexican guy who drives
The
car.
Reyes,
Robbie Reyes.
Robbie Reyes. So Robbie Reyes is also a Ghost Rider.
I always confuse him for Theo Rossi from Sons of Anarchy. I don't know how or why. Maybe it's just the haircut, but I always fucking confuse the two.
We were talking about this at work,
Yes.
like on a group call on Monday,
Yes.
because we just randomly mentioned it, and we were like, the dude from Sons of Anarchy, that's him.
Yeah.
They look
That's the
exactly
dude.
the same. I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, but Robbie Reyes, Danny Ketch, and Johnny Blaze, because by this point, Robbie Reyes kind of accidentally became a Ghost Rider, and Danny Ketch was the one who was actually
How do you
given the power.
accidentally become a Ghost Rider?
It's because this essentially he was a criminal.
Okay.
And I guess something happened where somebody close to him was murdered, and he went out looking for vengeance. But the spirit of vengeance found him, and he kind of was given the power. But he's like, I'm not giving this shit up. So he just kept being the Ghost Rider.
Can you just imagine he comes home to his buddies the next day and they're like, what the fuck happened to you? He's like, I got really angry and somehow found the spirit of vengeance.
That's kind of what happened.
You're fucking kidding
And I'm dead serious.
You're
Yeah,
fucking
it's
kidding me.
that's kind of what happened.
You literally explained every shonen.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Like, hey, let's be honest here. You
Yeah.
explained all supernatural shonens right now.
Yeah, but essentially, like
didn't have to
that's
dox
that's basically
anyone like that.
I
That's
talked myself.
basically-
I knew what that meant.
that's basically what happened. But on top of that, so after Johnny Blaze dies, he essentially goes back up to the to Earth, and he takes Danny Ketch and Robbie Reyes' powers away to become the full powered spirit of vengeance and becomes essentially the King of Hell, Ghost
Oh, wow.
Rider. And he kills Wong, and he drags Mephisto back to Hell and rules over Hell as the King of Hell, essentially.
That's so hard.
It's fucking sick. If
That's so. Could
if
you
you-
imagine Nick? Because I just saw that trailer for the Nick Cage movie.
Oh,
whatever.
it looks
Oh,
so funny.
I want to watch it
Alright,
so
he
goddamn
doesn't-
bad.
Okay, I don't think he looks bad for his
He
age.
doesn't. He
No,
looks
not at all.
great.
He looks great.
Hey,
really good.
he
So
he
the
spends a lot of time doing movies and
Okay,
working out for
so
those movies.
I think he can fucking
you see
take
Mandy?
on.
No.
That okay? I watched that really stoned, and it was very hard to get through.
Yo, you have to watch it sober.
It was insane. I should have
Yeah.
never done that. I
Yeah.
did not know what to
I
expect.
watched it sober and was like, what the fuck is happening? Yeah, watch Mandy. It's very good.
Okay.
But,
Let's. Do you guys have a lot more to say on this? Because we're already at 25 minutes.
No, so we'll. I mean, we don't have a time limit.
No, I'm just want to go through other topics
yeah,
too.
I know. But the only thing I will say is that it seems like don't hold your breath for Ghost Rider, but it's possible. Don't hold your breath for Deadpool, but it's possible.
Ben Affleck was supposedly. I hate even mentioning this. I don't want to dox the dude. He's already gone through it. He apparently got asked to do Daredevil again for this purpose.
I saw that.
But like, first of all, just first point, how are you gonna get asked to be Daredevil before you get asked to be Batman again? And apparently,
Because he wasn't a good Batman. Hot take.
you know what?
Hot
At
take,
first,
he
I
wasn't a
thought
good
he was a
Batman.
great Batman, and then they said Robert Pattinson was gonna be the next Batman, and I was like, and then. If you go back to one of our videos, I said it was going to be fucking good. I haven't even watched it yet, but I've heard nothing but good things.
It's like a 10 out of 10 on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
I have literally
It's
heard
amazing,
nothing
apparently.
but good things, and that's why I said
Yeah,
that
same.
motherfucker was going to be one of the best I think he's going to bring back the hype of Batman that we got when Ledger was Joker.
Mhm.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I got to tell you, whenever I think back at Dark Knight, I don't think of Christian Bale's performance as Batman.
Oh, yeah, I think of the Joker.
But I think this is going to be the next shining Batman moment because I heard it was just pure noir detective
Mhm.
type vibes.
Yeah. Plus, too, like, that's a dumb question. My friend, she's like, oh, yeah, I saw it twice. I'm like, was it good? She goes, Dick, I saw it twice. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough.
Why do you think I'm going to sit through a movie 2 times?
I think
she saw it twice by herself.
I think I might go see it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I want to see the movie.
I want to see it too.
I
Yeah.
might tell him we're going
I might meet
with
you.
you.
Let me know
if
then,
you guys,
because-
if
Can
you
we
guys
all
go
go
late
see
in the day, I
Batman
might go
tomorrow?
with you. Yeah, I might go
We'll
with
go
you.
late in the day.
Okay.
Regardless, I'm going to go see it.
But yeah,
We're all seeing the Batman tomorrow. We'll talk about it next week.
yeah, right. But no, straight up, like to wrap up Multiverse of Madness. So don't hold your breath for Deadpool or Ghost Rider. However, if you have not watched What If, it seems like to some extent every single episode will tie into the Multiverse of Madness because they dropped hints through that entire trailer that What If is going to be heavily involved in this movie because essentially Wanda possibly created an entire, what is it now, almost 15-year-long
Yeah.
pocket reality. And on top of that, she's Strange ripped a fucking hole in this dimension and accessed an infinite number of realities. And Kang is like, you guys fucked everything up. So I might have to destroy all of this. So
And
yeah.
just petition to have Femke Jensen come back as Jean Grey and like full Dark Phoenix everyone's ass.
Yes, please.
Just if it's a look into another pocket
Yes,
dimension
please.
and we go look at it and it's just like, but you know the only thing I want, because here's my beef with on-screen Jean Grey Dark Phoenix is, so I liked Femke Jansen's Last Stand one just because I understood the look that they were going for, because they tried to make it look like she broke away from the X-Men, because notoriously the green suit was always meant for when she was an X-Men and she was able to control the Phoenix, and it would go red when she was not and she lost control, and then there's the white Phoenix suit, which I forget what she used that for. I think that's like the purest form of it.
Yeah.
But I really wish they could have given Femke Janssen a better suit, especially with the like way that they've done with like the Avenger movies, how close they've gone to the uniforms.
Yeah.
And like best example, Captain America
Yes.
from his very first movie to the last one. Chris Evans' uniform has been top tier. My favorite one will always be the Winter Soldier outfit,
Oh,
especially
yeah.
when he's in the elevator.
Mhm.
Favorite Captain America uniform, and I just wish
Also, just
'cause
Chris Evans, great Captain America.
Yeah.
the best. And
best,
I don't.
yeah.
It's another Hugh Jackman that no one's ever going to be able to.
100%.
And you know what's so funny? I love that he can be Johnny Storm
I forgot about that.
and Captain America.
I
he
forgot
was
about
he was
that.
a great fucking Johnny Storm. That is amazing when you can actually be good. It's not like how Ryan Reynolds was a terrible Green Lantern, but a perfect
Fucking
Deadpool.
amazing Deadpool. Well, the second time.
Well, that's just
Second
because
time,
he
yeah.
is
We
Deadpool,
don't
and
talk about the first
also like it's canonically known that Deadpool is described as somebody who's mixed between Ryan Reynolds and a burnt Sharpay.
Yeah, that's true. See, so one more thing too about the recasting of Chris Evans. It's kind of funny because I've heard speculation that because Fox owned the X-Men and the Fantastic Four franchises, and they were the ones that casted them. Jessica Alba was Susan Storm, blah 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 blah. That was the real Earth 616 timeline, and that the MCU is not.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
So that's, and to add on to that, that is also in that universe. That is also Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man,
and Blade.
and Blade. Yeah.
So in that's that. So
also,
I believe,
Hugh Jackman's Wolverine as well.
yeah, and I think that's a good way to do it because when you think back on it, every time I look at like older comics, it's very much the same aesthetic as when those movies came out early
Correct,
2000s, when those big storylines were happening.
Well, yeah, like when the whole butchering on Genosha, and then soon after that, when Wolverine became one of Apocalypse's horsemen and ended up going to prison.
Mhm.
That same that same era of comics.
Have you seen like the latest run where they're trying to bring back the whole Genosha thing?
Yeah.
And like all the Magneto and Charles are like, if you're not a mutant, you can't be in the club.
Yeah.
And so like they basically almost kicked Wanda. They kicked
Yeah.
Wanda out because she's technically not
She's
not a mutant.
Yeah,
So like Xavier's wearing this big old helmet with an X on it.
I saw that.
Can't take him seriously.
I saw that. And it's funny too because they were like, "Hey, yo, X-Force can go fuck themselves," and Deadpool's like, "Hey, man, like,
Deadpool's like, I'm a mutant, dude.
yeah,
I'm the most mutant right
yeah."
now.
I mean, well,
Force is like the
X-Force
the
is
bad boy
just-
band of X-Men.
X-Force is just like, God, it's so. Here's the thing, X-Force, like, X-Men is like Young Justice. X-Force is Teen Titans.
Mhm, yeah.
That's essentially what it is.
Let's move on
You're
at that
not wrong.
point. That's
Alright.
a perfect point to move on
Yeah.
from.
Um,
All right, so we have the movies that have come out, which are mainly just the horror movies that, for us, scream in Texas Chainsaw.
that's you guys.
Gabe, go for it, dude.
I'm not going to spoil anything because I know you haven't seen it and you got spoiled a little bit. You haven't seen the movie.
I mean, once you know who the killers are, it's the entire thing.
Yeah.
Is just a buzz.
Yeah,
But trust me, after watching it a second time in theaters, it's still worth it because it's fucking amazing. Like, I found it really good. You guys synced that up perfectly. I found that it was such a good movie, and
ADHD
everything
wins for the win.
let's go.
everything in it was perfect. Like, it was just super nostalgic for me. I thought it was how it normally is, Scream movie is going to be super meta. This
Yeah, of
movie is the most fucking meta.
Yeah,
It is just, it's fantastic. And when you guys watch it, we'll talk about it because it was
so
just
you
great.
think our Wes Craven would be happy?
Wes Craven would be ecstatic.
I'm sorry. Can you plug my laptop in? I thought about the cable over.
Yes. All right, Texas Chainsaw, Serge, your turn.
All right. So I'm gonna start with the obvious and just say that the writing. Just plug it into that little thing right there, other side. Yeah. Thank you. I'm just gonna say that I was incredibly disappointed with how fucking blatantly lazy the writing was.
I don't like how mature you're trying to be about this.
Because he will scream if he's not going to be mature right now.
I will bullet point this. I'm going to say, first of all, the fact that the mask looked like Harold from Scary Stories is appalling to me, especially because it's like, you dicks, he didn't wear the same mask for 50 fucking years. Like, what?
I had to tell Garrick because we were watching it with him. I was like, that looks like fucking Harold, and he goes, who? I was like, I pulled up the
from
picture,
Scary Stories,
and he was like, oh fuck, that does look like Harold.
Didn't Garrick say something about seeing on TikTok that it was
Shatner's mask.
yeah, it was Shatner's mask,
it was
just a
a Shatner
super
mask.
distressed one.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So apparently the way they got this Leatherface mask is that they took an older Shatner mask and just fucked it up and put hair on it, and that was the Leatherface mask. Which, yeah, I don't.
You're gonna have to zoom in when you re-edit this just to see the fury. They can probably feel it.
Fucking. So okay.
Are
Yeah.
we not gonna say anything about that?
There's nothing to say.
There's
the
nothing
movie
to
was
say.
the movie
Are
was
you-
bad.
Dog shit.
This
Are
is
you fucking kidding?
you know what this is? This is a dingleberry on top of a pile of shit. That's
Yep.
all it
Okay,
is.
Yep.
Hold on. Here's my first question. What fucking bullshit Instagram cosplayer who thinks that he can make masks did they go to for fucking this idea?
Here's the thing: the fact that Tom Savini was open to doing another Texas Chainsaw design, and they never even fucking bothered to ask him.
You know why they're too bothered to ask him? Because they're probably afraid that they're going to have to deal with what the first people dealt with on set. It was going to smell like dead meat all the time.
Well, because listen, man, you can't. Here's my thing. The one thing that I've always enjoyed about every single Leatherface design, except for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, because we don't talk about that, was
We're not
how.
going to talk about
No,
the. We're not
we're
going to
talking
talk about the
that.
thrusting.
We already
on
did.
the
We're not talking about the thrusting, no.
If you want to know how our feelings on that
Although-
Texas
although-
Chainsaw, watch that episode.
Although I do love Bill Moseley's Chop Top, love him,
But
but
I love Bill Moses.
but we don't talk about Texas
We're
Chainsaw
talking
Chainsaw
about
2.
the thrusting
Yeah.
chainsaw.
But you know, all joking aside, one redeeming quality about every single incarnation of Texas Chainsaw, except for Leatherface, because it's just a dumb origin
The
story,
violence.
was not only the violence but also the design of Leatherface. In my opinion, he's the most terrifying slasher villain of all time. 100%, because like Michael's very creepy and menacing, Freddy's just over the top, Jason's very menacing, but
I
like
think we truly do have specific categories.
types of
I don't
Yeah.
scary.
And that's as much as we joke and shit on each other. I don't think you could ever compare any big,
No.
especially the big three.
It's all that they all
Yeah.
hit a different fear, like
'Cause-
a visceral
correct.
And
fear.
also,
'Cause-
one is always respecting the other because one came before one another.
Correct, because obviously the first slasher villain ever was Michael Myers,
God damn.
without a doubt.
Mine
and-
was Scream.
Yeah, but you know, obviously Michael's very menacing and creepy. He has like that home invader like real evil, where like that's
I
why
think
it's so
that's-
scary.
I think that was, again, we've mentioned it before, that was John Carter, and that's why it worked, and that's
Correct.
why we were able to bounce off it so much, because somebody sat there and thought, okay, this is babysitting horror, and this is what would happen if
Correct.
you got attacked while you're babysitting.
Correct,
And
yeah.
then it was, what would happen if you went to camp as a camp counselor? And then what would happen if you were on a road trip?
What's really in the woods? That was Jason.
Yeah.
Jason
Exactly.
kind of plays into that fear of the dark, like what's really lurking out there.
And it's just like somebody that has no soul and is just doing it just because.
Just because he can.
Texas
Yeah.
Chainsaw, I always thought that Leatherface
It's
was
like,
more.
it's like the fucking the strangers because
yeah,
they're home.
I
you know?
thought that Leatherface was
That's
more of
fucking
just.
terrifying.
Leatherface was always just like, oh, this is just someone who is killing because he doesn't know. Like he's killing just because it's not a Michael and not a Jason where it's like
Yeah.
he's gonna kill because he wants to. Leatherface is just killing
but
because
also,
he's
too-
not aware.
But not only that too is he's a butcher.
Yeah,
He's literally a butcher. Like in my opinion, there's nobody who has gorier kills than Leatherface.
like let's be
In
honest.
translation,
New movie was shit. The special effects and the gore,
they were great.
fantastic.
They were great.
It was
Yeah,
great.
But I don't want to give too much credit to this fucking
Yeah,
piece of
and
shit
Yeah,
movie.
that's
the rest of it was
shitty
bad.
part is,
Terrible.
like, yours did really well, but there were unfortunately like faults in ours. But the one thing I took from like Michael's, especially since you guys were talking about like how they are, you know, he's a butcher, but I liked what the like Halloween Ends explained
Michael's
because I was
real.
I was really expecting for them to fuck it up. Because that was my biggest thing. As long as there wasn't some explanation,
Yeah.
and they didn't. What they told us was basically even more fucking terrifying. Was the fact that this boy knew that there's something in him that he could not stop. And that when he looked in the mirror, when he looked out that window, he saw the fucking black abyss inside himself.
Yeah.
And he's still that 6-year-old child.
Yeah.
No explanation, no reason.
Yeah.
It's just how it is. And that's exactly how it is with Leatherface.
Yeah.
Is because there's no, to any of them, there's no appealing to their humanity. I think the only one that you could probably even try with is Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but even then, like Jason is he's a supernatural being.
He's
like,
a demon. What is it?
No, he's actually
Jason goes
zombified.
technically,
Zombie? Okay.
technically
Zombie.
speaking, Jason Goes to Hell is not part of the canonical story. So with that being said, he's technically just a zombie.
Why
He's
you
a
gotta
zombie with a little-
invalidate my Jason X like
I
that?
fucking Jason Goes to space.
Why,
We were talking.
why are you invalidating my Jason with the fucking
We were talking.
xenomorph on his
we were
face,
Yeah,
dude?
actually
right.
talking about the press because I was watching. I was telling Garrick how I've been wanting to show him Madman Mars because the way I
Oh,
feel about
yeah.
that movie is that it's got
That's
the,
a great film,
It's
by the way.
got the feel of Halloween, that creepy fucking suspenseful and also like disturbing story, and something's always lurking. But it has the campiness of the first Friday the 13th, so it's kind of hot, but it's still so terrifying that you can't stop watching it.
Yeah.
And he was like, I know your favorite one is always Jason X. And I was like, I've broken you. I've really broken you.
and here's the crazy part about this whole thing is because I can't fucking believe that they didn't learn from all the other Texas Chainsaw movies. Here's why the Texas Chainsaw movies were terrible after the first one. The only good Texas Chainsaw film was the very fucking first one, and here's why. It's because every single film after that fell victim to the time that it was made. Every single one, without exception.
Point in case, I have a huge beef with a lot of 80s horror.
Yeah, so, for example, Texas Chainsaw 2 was the campy comedy horror thing that, like, you saw around the same time as that. Like, fuck
Wasn't that the one with
Nightmare on
like
Elm
the weird family, like the shock jock guy? Wasn't that?
No,
That's
it's-
Chop Top. That's
Chop Top?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's when they harass the lady at the,
Yeah,
the
okay.
hot chick at the
At the-
radio
at the-
station.
at the radio
and then
station.
she comes out at the end fucking waving that shit around.
Correct.
You know she did a fucking nude shoot with Jeremy Saffer?
That's hilarious.
Like now, she looks hot for her
Good for
age.
her.
She looks really
Pull,
good.
pull it out, Jamie.
Hello, Jamie. Yeah, but no, like, and Texas Chainsaw 3 as well, Texas Chainsaw.
Nightmare on Elm Street 2 was a movie for the gays.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too, is that when they remade...
You know I'm fucking
When they
right.
remade-
You know I'm fucking right.
I never thought about it that way.
I'll put it
Shit.
this way.
You know there's an entire documentary about it? Yeah, I'm not even
Yeah.
fucking joking you. I think it's on like Netflix or Prime.
I think it's on Prime. Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the thing. I have a lot of beef with Texas Chainsaw 3D, even though it had the best kills in the whole fucking franchise. It's the most 2004 movie I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Next to like Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I was watching
it's
Tokyo
such
Drift. That's a whole other
fucking-
story.
that movie's great. That's totally
I
different.
just watched it yesterday. It was so good.
That movie's
the
timeless.
fucking soundtrack.
That movie's
oh.
timeless. But no, so straight up, every single Texas Chainsaw has been a reflection of its age and like the time the movie was made. The scene that I got so angry I almost turned it off and didn't watch it, but I'm like, I have to finish this to shut on the rest of the movie. Was when he goes onto the bus and they're like, "You're gonna get canceled, bro." Fuck you.
Because
Fuck you for
know
that.
what's so fucked up is had you had the mask right, had you not have them say that, and it would not be in the scenario that it is, but still this bus scene, it would have been one of the greatest fucking newer Leatherface scenes to ever come across.
I will put it this way. A chainsaw kill in a Texas Chainsaw movie is one of my favorite things ever in horror cinema. That whole thing of them putting their phones up like, "You're going to get fucking canceled, bro." That ruined the kills that followed for me. Because I'm like, every time I see those kills, I think of that stupid fucking line, and it completely ruins it for me.
Can I suggest something?
Yes.
I thought it fit that part perfectly because, like you said, it is a victim of the times. That is how the times are now. It is a
Yeah.
very cancel culture. Hey, we're going to stop you for this. And we were like watching it, Nikki, me, and Garrick. And literally, as soon as he killed the guy, me and Garrick were just like, oh, they all deserve this. We were rooting for it at that point.
But at the same time, though, why would you make a period piece when you can make a timeless film? The first
Because
Texas-
Netflix.
That's my point.
That's the shitty
That's
part.
exactly my point, is because the first Texas Chainsaw film is timeless. You could have that theoretically be at any period of time with a different cast, with a different fucking everything. If you kept the same script, the same way that it was shot, the same dialogue, the same everything, it doesn't matter if it was in the fucking 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, 90s, or now. It would be. It's a great horror film.
And you can look at Halloween and all of the movies. I feel that they are timeless, each and every one.
Correct.
Some of them, they have the element of their time, but if you think about it, when you think of the newer Halloweens, you don't get the cell phone element.
Yes.
There's somehow, it's not like cooperated in. Like they did a great way of getting rid of that whole element of them trying to find Allison, the first movie, Halloween Returns or whatever.
Yeah.
That just canceled it all out. He threw her phone into the food bowl at the boyfriend when they got in a fight,
Which is why.
and then you forgot about it.
Which
Completely
is
forgot
why
about it.
Halloween's the superior slasher franchise.
And then you'll see it
Goddamn
in
right.
like the new Scream movie when you guys watch it. They have a way to go meta around phones and
Yeah.
tablets and such.
Yeah.
Because that's what Scream is. It is like keeping up with it and being meta. They figure out a way.
'Cause here's
And then
my
you
thing.
don't worry about it.
Here's my thing. When you have, here's my thing. The fucking work is done for you with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film. You have a terrifying, massive individual with a fucking chainsaw wearing someone else's face and a butcher apron. How do you fuck that up? Why do you make it campy? Why do you make it funny? Why do you break the tension? Here's the thing. I will give credit to Texas Chainsaw 3D in this, was that not Texas Chainsaw 3D, which was the one with Jordana Brewster? That was the second remake, right? The one after 3D?
I don't know.
Whatever.
No, it's fuck.
The one that Jordana Brewster was in, whatever. That one specifically, no, that was 3D, I thought. I think that was 3D. Whatever. Point being, the tension building in those scenes when Leatherface is...
The beginning.
The beginning. Okay, that one. That movie is dog shit. However, one thing that they got...
Brewster.
Yeah, well, my love for Jordana Brewster will not be... Whatever. Point being, when this movie first... I watched it, I was like, the dialogue is terrible, the premise is terrible. However, the fact that they were able to build that type of tension looking for... Oh, wait, no, wait. Was that the one with Arlie Ermy? Was that the beginning, or which one was that one?
Isn't that 3D?
No,
that's the one with fuck, what's her name?
I forgot Matt Bomer was in the beginning one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the brother.
Which
Matt Bomer.
which-
He's so hot.
which one is Arlie Ermy in? I forgot. But okay, so anyway, that one, the way that she hides in like meat lockers and hides in like a coffin and whatnot and watches her friends get literally butchered in front of her. Fantastic premise. They didn't try to make it serious. They didn't try to make it super, like, funny joke. Because here's my thing. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre was so raw and gritty that it was so fucking shocking to the core. There was hardly any gore in that entire movie. And it was terrifying. You know what I mean?
Because they knew how to use tension.
Exactly.
That's what these new movies are lacking. Just tension.
Exactly my point. They don't know how to structure it around the idea of what Leatherface is. They're trying to make a quick teen horror cash grab bullshit film to just make money off of it. But here's the thing. Here's the danger in that. When you take a character like Leatherface, who, again, the movie fucking writes itself. He's a hermit who wears someone else's face with a butcher apron on and has a chainsaw around, and he's 75 fucking years old.
You sound like me every time they try to reboot Halloween, and I'm just like, just do my idea.
The movie writes itself. Like, here's my thing. You literally have all the pieces in front of you, and you can take the best parts of every Texas Chainsaw film of the past 50 fucking years and essentially cut out all the fat from the stuff from the 2000s, the one from the 80s, the one from the fucking 90s, from Leatherface, from all that shit. And it essentially makes it to where you just have to write the story to where it makes sense in a timeline.
No.
and just put those pieces in. It's not that fucking difficult.
It really isn't. And that's what's so funny is, like, we have very simplistic scenarios.
Yes.
Michael Myers was a babysitter killer.
And on top of that, too, the fact like, oh, it was fucking Netflix. What did you expect? Fear Street was fucking great.
Oh my God.
I was just rewatching that yesterday.
Fear Street was
So
great.
good.
Here's my thing. You can't blame Netflix for writing shitty horror films because Fear Street was great. And 1666 essentially had, like, yes, it was weird. Yes, it was kind of campy at times. But here's the thing. You have the premise. The movie essentially wrote itself, and they didn't fuck it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, like you essentially took the essence of what that genre's horror film was and made the best version of that. Why couldn't you do that for Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yeah, and that's what I love about horror movies is I love rooting for Michael. I'll always root for Michael over everyone, and I think Halloween Ends was just Michael Myers cleaning up a town of douchebags.
Yeah.
Evil gets threatened tonight.
Evil gets threatened tonight.
Evil gets threatened and then says, fuck around and find out. And then everyone found out.
Evil's in trouble tonight.
Because
Evil plays reverse card tonight.
Because, like, that's, like, half the fun of watching horror movies is you're rooting for them to kill the fucking dumb teenager that won't run. Like, fucking Neve Campbell says she's too busy running up the fucking stairs when she should be running out the front door.
Yeah.
That's one element I love to horror. The other element I love is the reason why John Carpenter chose Jamie Lee Curtis to be the vulnerable character when that's not who she was. He wanted to make people care about her and people be scared for her.
Yeah.
And when I watched Fear Street, when the best friend that was really smart and she sold, like, drugs.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When they killed her, I was so sad. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Give these kids a fucking break. And then when they they tried to murder both the sisters at the end, when they all descend upon her and they start killing the sister, I was like, dude.
They knew how to do that right.
Because here's why Halloween is so fucking good. And this might be a hot take. When you find yourself only rooting for the killer, that's a bad movie. You don't know how to write characters. When you find yourself rooting for the protagonist and saying, "Oh fuck, but shit, she might get got." Like, the best example of that was Halloween 2. Because when Halloween 2 came out, if you watch Halloween 1, you were rooting for Laurie. However, you saw how sinister and how evil Michael was. You're like, fuck, he might get her this time, but you're rooting for Laurie the entire time. Where you're worried that Michael's going to get her, but you're still rooting for Laurie the entire fucking movie.
And when you watch the formula, it's the same formula as the first one.
And exactly.
Because here's the thing. We all love...
Are we done?
We all love...
Are we off?
No, we're still live.
We all
My
love...
stream ended.
We all love
kick it back
PJ Souls, but we wanted Linda to get killed because she was the stupid blonde.
Yes, correct.
And then you go to Halloween 2.
Yeah.
Stupid nurse who was late and can't even do her fucking job and who's
Correct.
too busy hot tubbing in the back with her boyfriend, who's a paramedic, who also is probably needed somewhere. Same thing.
And this, again, in my opinion, it goes into the same thing of not only does the movie write itself, but the formula of the second one. You had side characters who you weren't like, oh, I hope he fucking dies. Like, for example, was there any point in Halloween 2 where you were expecting Loomis, like, ah, God, I can't wait for him to die? No. Not at all.
Yeah.
But every single time I've watched a Texas Chainsaw film, I'm like, I hope he kills every single person in this goddamn movie. Everybody. Like, for example, when Alexander Daddario was like, fucking, yeah, cuz I'm cool with you being a crazy hermit butcher that lives in my basement. No, dude, that's not... It's very disappointing to see when you're rooting for exclusively the killer the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The only exception to that is Friday the 13th, but again, as a franchise, Friday the 13th is not good.
And that's the shitty part is, like, I'm very... Just because my classic's always Jamie Lee Curtis. I also really liked Scout Taylor Compton as Laurie in the remakes of Rob Zombies.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't like her in the second one because they made her all fucking crazy like him. I actually find a lot of my favorite final girls in Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
3, she kicks his ass. And whichever one has the telepath chick, she also kicks his ass.
Yeah.
So I can't say that franchise has shitty
The
final girls.
telepath,
'cause
I
they
think,
do.
was Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
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 Jason takes
no,
a
no,
lot
no.
of
It
damage.
was one of the
Oh, no,
earlier
no.
ones, the 80s ones that
Mhm.
definitely felt pretty.
Oh, yeah.
Jason takes a lot of fucking damage.
Well, because Jason's not smart.
Exactly. And
That's
he's
why they had to zombify his ass and then, basically reanimate him like fucking Frankenstein and then also reanimate him again in Jason X.
You know what we need to talk about one of these days? Just the Chucky films. I love the Chucky films.
I
They're
have
so
like
much
I
fun.
have a love-hate with them.
I
only like
love
Bride of
them.
Chucky.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
they're not great.
They're terrible movies. I think they're fucking hilarious. That's why I like them.
It's essentially
On today's episode of Gabe trying to defend something that's terrible.
Yeah, they're terrible. They're fucking hilarious though.
it's the epitome of comedy horror.
It literally is, which is why I like it.
Yeah, which is the epitome of comedy horror. Yeah.
All right, you guys want to move on or keep on talking?
I'm done ranting. I just thought Texas Chainsaw was a bullshit movie. Sorry. No, I'm not. Fuck you guys.
Hey, it sucked. Let's be honest. Hey,
was
Dingleberry on top of a
goddamn
shit
terrible.
pile. It was terrible.
And this is why I now claim the Saw franchise, because I saw Jigsaw and it was fucking great.
Jigsaw, right? Thank
It
you.
was very good.
Oh,
Wait,
don't you
wait,
love it?
you saw
Did
Spiral?
you not love the end?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Spiral. Yeah, I saw Spiral.
Did
It
you
was great.
not love the end?
Of course
It was
did.
so
The end was
fucking
so
good.
good.
Yeah. Also,
You let him get away, you motherfucker. Doof.
yeah. but also too, on top of that, I loved the fact that they played into their not only being a copycat killer, but somebody who was as smart as John Kramer,
Right.
which I fucking love. Also, Chris Rock, I love you, dude. For sure, get better in horror movies.
I thought that he was just very funny in it. Like that was it. That was his character.
I think as a start, it wasn't bad.
It wasn't terrible as
And
as a reboot.
I'll always love Samuel Jackson
Yeah.
as anything in horror.
But
any
really quick too, I will say this much: when Saw, at least the Saw franchise did something that was very important to me, which I very much appreciate, is that they did not try to reboot it; they just continued on in real time.
Mhm.
yeah.
In real time, where like they said, "Hey, it's been 2 years since Jigsaw. It's been 3 years since Texas Chainsaw or not Texas Saw
6, 7.
6 or 7 or the fuck
That's
the
what
final
I'm
chapter.
hoping they
whatever.
do with
Final chapter
Allison
2.
and, Halloween. That
Yeah.
if this is the end of Michael and Laurie's
Correct,
journey,
and the spirit of John Kramer will never die.
Mhm.
that's true.
They did a really good job with idolizing him and putting him up there as like the god of whatever Saw is.
The cultish side of things.
Yeah. Like he is just the leader. Like even though he died, people will still follow in his footsteps, punishing those who are quote unquote evil and doing society wrong.
And I love that they did that with Amanda and the doctor.
Yeah.
And then when they died, they were like, no, copycat killers are a real thing, and they were going to put this out in real time, and it's great. And here's the thing about the Saw movies is that all of those movies I feel are timeless.
Hmm.
All of them, because they have the writing to where you could put them in any period of time, and they make sense not only in as standalone movies, canonically in the series, which is fucking great.
You know what franchise I want to talk about, and you guys know that I never say favorite other than Halloween, but my other one would be The Collector and The Collector.
Oh yeah.
Next
Collector's
episode, I will
great.
talk about that. Because
Yeah.
That was a good two-part
when we're not
series.
doing,
I gotta go back and actually watch those movies. I
Same.
forgot how good.
Hey,
those
we could
movies
do
are.
it this
Yeah.
week.
I'm down.
Because we said what? Like this is scheduling now. Once every 2 weeks.
Something
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Something like that, just so we can have time to do everything. We could watch the stuff that we want to watch.
Content, baby.
Yeah.
Which is also why we're going to talk about what we want to do in the future. Aside from talk about the collector of the collection, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting Neon Genesis Evangelion, all of us. So from now on, every single episode.
It's about goddamn time. Put some respect on my girl Oscar's name. Bro.
So from now on, for every single Nerding Out episode, we're going to be going over 10 or so episodes of Neon Genesis. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to dissect it.
I'm not ready for this.
See,
Yes.
they say talk about it. It's just going to be me psychologically analyzing the shit out of Shinji and telling everyone how he's a little bitch.
I mean, there's only like 25 episodes of the show.
Exactly.
And a
So
movie.
we have that. And then there's like,
3
what,
movies.
4? There's like 3 or 4 movies. If anything, we could just watch Neon Genesis and then The End or True End or V3, whichever the fuck one is the
So,
real ending.
We're gonna watch it in canonical. So okay, the canon ending is a little weird, but there's a way that they can. I'll explain later.
Yeah.
I'll explain off stream.
So that's what we're deciding to do, and then doing that in addition to horror movies, comics, video games, whatever the fuck comes up that we want to talk about, just so we can have something to go off of every single week. And eventually we're going to different shows, different animes. We're sort of thinking right now of doing One Piece eventually.
Yes.
Like,
in conclusion, we're back, bitch.
we're back. And it's not the
back.
whole show of One Piece. It's the movie arcs.
Don't
movie
give me
arcs.
the reassuring gestures, but fine.
What? We're literally skipping 200 episodes by doing the movie arcs.
I'm only agreeing to this because they let me rant about Michael Myers all the time.
Yeah.
I have to give.
I hope you watch it and you're like, this is the fucking greatest.
I
show I've ever
really
watched.
do.
And I hope it changes my mind, but there is
Me
nothing.
too.
Lately, there's nothing that can top for me other than My Hero. But alas, we are back.
We are
So
back.
We'll wrap it up there.
Hot take.
No.
Let's hear it.
One Piece was My Hero before My Hero even fucking existed.
Hey, hot take. One Piece is shonen.
Yeah, One Piece is shonen.
It's not. It's not. It is a shonen. It is shonen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop talking before I rip them both apart.
Cool, dude. So One Piece, that over 1,000 episodes, 1,040 chapters.
Stop it! We don't have time. I have food here.
Zoro's the greatest character of all time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. We'll be back
We
once
will
every
see you
2 weeks or
guys
so.
Next time. We love you.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. Follow us TikTok at SCM Podcast, Instagram Sharp Death Panel, one word. Podcast where you can find podcasts. Go to our YouTube channel. We do reactions and shit, and we'll be back. We love you all. Goodbye.
Twitch.tv/Strawberry Death Machine, and Zoro's the greatest.
All right.